All right, so I've done a video about this topic before, but I found something new and I wanted to share it with you, so I decided we were going to make a new video altogether. So today's video for the Careful Diver is what to do when you get your period and you are diving. All right, so let's start with the fact that there are 6 options. The first one is the easiest, and that is you can free bleed. The ocean is very large. Lakes are very large. Water bodies where we go scuba diving are usually very large. We're not talking about pools here. So the little teaspoon of blood that you may express while you are out and about is not going to change much of anything, right? So I have done that for many, many years. I've just free bled and it doesn't really matter. Which brings me to my second method, which is there are these fantastic period bathing suits. And those are really good for surface intervals when you have decided to free bleed, right? Because it means that you are free bleeding into your period lined bathing suit, and you will then be able to jump in the water with your wetsuit, and the water will do its job and rinse you out. And if you want, which is what I do when I'm up at my safety stop, I make sure that I flush a bunch of water through my wetsuit and I come out and I'm clean, and it's really not a big deal. Now, this is obviously more problematic if you are in a dry suit. When you are in a dry suit, I don't know what your particular methods are. People use P-valves or diapers. I personally use a diaper, and so free bleeding works anyway, okay? I just hate the fact that there is so much shame around this topic that even mentioning free bleeding is considered to be an ick. It's a perfectly normal, natural thing to do. All right? Okay. Now, I have covered their 1 and 2, the second one being the period bathing suits, which are fantastic. I actually have a couple of them linked down in the description and on my website, and I would encourage you to check them out. Number 3, you can go to the old and reliable and often used tampon. That's an obvious one. So sometimes women will ask, well, why would you not want to use a tampon? Okay. The thing is that if you are going to do really long dives, or you're going to be out on the water for a very long time, and there is no head, then you might run into a bit of a problem, right? If you are on a dive boat or at a location where there is no place for you to change out your tampon in a timely manner, then you might have yourself some trouble with tampons. Tampons leak, which is not fantastic. And more problematically, they have to be thrown away and they have to be changed to avoid risk of toxic shock syndrome. So tampons are great if you're going to do maybe your 2 morning dives and you come back, or 2 afternoon dives, or if there's a head and you can go and change it out. But if that's not the case and you don't want to free bleed, there are 3 more options. The first one is the cup, the menstrual cup. I've heard marvels about the menstrual cup. I don't use it personally, but other people who menstruate have been really, told me that it's fantastic. And the way the menstrual cup works is that you put it inside and it collects the blood, and then you will pull it out, rinse it out, and then put it back in. Now, again, you notice at some point you need to go to the restroom to handle your business. And so there is that somewhat of a limitation with the menstrual cup. But the great thing also is that you don't have to buy a new one, constantly. You can travel with just one because you one and done. They last for years, literally. You reuse it from month to month. Okay. Now we get to the thing that I did not know existed and I started using, and now I'm a believer. And so I linked it in the description. I linked it on my website. I love this. I absolutely love this. And it is the disc. So here's the thing about the disc. This is why I love this thing. And it comes in 2 types. And that's why I said there were 2 more things left, right? It comes in the reusable version, which you can pull out, rinse, and put back in and use from month to month. Or you also have the disposable version, which lasts, hang on, 12 hours. I love this. Even if you are using a disposable one, right? 12 hours. I use it on long trips. I use it on long dive days. And when I'm on my rebreather, some of my dives are 2.5, 3.5 hours. I love this. I am not worried about toxic shock syndrome. I'm not worried about having to get to the surface. And here is the kicker, right? For both the reusable and the discardable disc. Hang in there. If you are using the disc and you bear down, like you want to go to the restroom, you push down, it will fold the disc just a bit and let some of the blood escape, which means that you can actually be confident that there won't be random leaks because you can express it either when you go to the restroom or, which is what I do, underwater. If I'm at a safety stop, if I'm at a long deco stop, if we've been going for 2.5, 3.5 hours, it's been a while and I'm about to go back to the surface, I bear down, I express the teeny little amount of blood. It's such a tiny amount. It can make such a mess and a disaster if you're up on the boat or up at the surface. Comes out, I rinse out my suit, or the diaper under the dry suit catches it, and I'm confident that there will not be any leaks when I get back to the surface. So I am a believer. I went from free bleeding to always using the disc. I would encourage you to feel comfortable about diving on your period. We have heard over the years, I'm sure you've heard them too, so many ridiculous stories and myths. It attracts fish, it attracts sharks, it's too dangerous, whatever. The amount of nonsense we've heard around menstruation while diving is staggering. But this is a wonderful, absolutely fantastic invention. And I'm so grateful that it exists. And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you like this video, awesome. Let me know. I love reaching out to women and I love getting girls in the sport and I love talking about things that affect us in particular.